It's the Road Trip Project day number 3, where we are going to calculate the cost for hotels, meals, car rental, and find out what is the total cost of this trip after we bring all the different charges together. And this particular day begins with a sheet looking a lot like this, where you first ask to how long have you spent in each of your cities. Here in the cities that were part of my project, and the number of days I decided to stay in each city. How did I decide which day? Well, I think in Boise I'll say 2 days. In Chicago I think I'll stay 3. So I just chose these number of days myself. And then I added all those days up and I got the total days that I spent sightseeing. Okay, and once I did that, part of the time is just literally spent driving around. And they tell me I can travel 800 miles in 1 day. Ooh, that looks like a ratio, doesn't it? I'm measuring miles and days. So I'm going to calculate the number of days it takes me to travel. So I wrote up my ratio of days by miles, and they tell me 1 day for 800 miles. Now I know how many miles I've traveled in my entire trip. In my case, it's 5,250, so I have this great proportion. How many days will that be? So 1 over 800 is equal to how many days? I don't know. Over 5,250. It's a rate proportion. I can solve it using cross product. 800 times x is 800x equals 5,250. So what's happening to the variable? It's being multiplied by 800, so I have to divide both sides by 800. When I do so, x is worth 6 and 6/10, which I just rounded to 7 days. So I spent 7 days driving, 11 days sightseeing, so the total days of vacation is going to be 18. Next, I need to think about staying places. So my hotel ratings here are by stars, and the more stars, the more it costs. And once again, I list the cities I stayed in and what kind of a hotel I'd stay at each city. So the number of days I stay is just copied from my sightseeing days. And then I decided that in Boise, Austin, and San Diego, I'm going to stay at 2-star hotels. And in Chicago, 3-star. And when I get to Charleston, I'm going to go ahead and stay at a much nicer place. But I take the number of days, how much it costs per night for a 2-star hotel, how much costs per night for a 3-star hotel, and then to find out the cost for Boise, I'm at 2 days, $55 per night. 2 times 55 is 110. For Chicago, for a 3-star hotel, it's going to be $75 per night. 3 times 75 is 225. I'll continue that for all my cities. Get the total for each city stay, and then I'm going to add that up, and that's the total money I spent on hotels. Okay, look how close we're getting near the end. I have to think about food being spent. And I have 3 choices of places to eat. Fast food, nice restaurants, and fancy restaurants. I have 18 days of vacation, and then 3 meals per day, so it's going to be 54 meals total that I have to purchase. And I'm going to be trying to be kind of cheap about this. I know when I get to Chicago and Charleston, I'm probably going to want to eat at least a couple of fancy meals. But most of the time, I'm going to try and eat fast food. So if I had 3 fancy meals, I figure at least 2 of my meals per day are going to be fast food. So 2 times 18 is 36. And the difference between the 36 and the 3 and my total number of meals is going to be 15. So I knew I had 54 meals. 3 of them will be fancy. 36 of them will be fast food. So I just subtract it and I have 15 left over for nice meals. 36 meals at $5.50 per meal. I multiplied that out, $198, and I did the same thing for the nice restaurants and the fancy restaurants. And then I added up, and so I spent a total of $423 on food, which almost seems unbelievable, actually, but I suppose these meals are actually pretty cheap. Now I have to figure out my rental cost for the car. And they tell me it's $60 per day plus, so I'm going to do some adding here, 30 cents per mile. Well, there's multiple days. So however many days times $60 a day, I'm going to have to multiply that. So I have $60 per day, and then it's 30 cents per mile. Notice it's 30 cents, so I need to adjust it so that I wrote it in terms of dollars. So 30 cents is the same thing as $300. I'm going to multiply that times the total number of miles that I traveled, and that's getting my rental costs. So $60 a day, and there's 18 days that I have vacation, so 60 times 18 plus, $300, 30 cents times the total number of miles I've driven, and when I plugged into the calculator, I get a value like this. So the total cost for renting the car, $2,655. So look at this. Now I'm ready to figure out what is the total cost of this trip. Well, how much fuel? Well, if I go back to day 2, and I rented my Ford Mustang, and for my Ford Mustang, the cost for the 5,250 miles was $894.60. So that's this. It's going to be that. So there's my fuel cost. My rental car, right here. There's my rental car, $2,655. My hotel, that was on this previous page here. Total cost for staying in the motel. My motel stay, $1,155. Food, we calculated up here, $423. There's my rental car. I'm going to add all these up, and I'm going to find out the total for my trip. To do so, what's that going to give me? $894.60 plus $2,655 plus $1,155 plus $423. So this entire trip is going to run me $5,127.60. Is that a lot? I don't know. It would be interesting to go back and recalculate everything for maybe a different car, or certainly maybe a different trip. Maybe I could save a lot of money if I simply didn't go so far. But that's been our road trip project. I hope you've had a fun time finding out, and maybe inspire some future trip that you will take. All right, go get it work done.